Please let us call our town hall meeting to order, and I'm going to say good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for coming in person, or those who are hopefully joining us by Zoom. If we got our Zoom connection, we're saying hello to everybody out in cyberspace. This is our first town hall of 2021. Let us open this town hall with prayers of thanksgiving for our ability to gather together, and prayers of remembrance for all those who have gone before us and can't be with us today. Chaplain Leslie.
Thank you. It is good to see all of you here this afternoon, and for those, as Joan said, who are at home and watching us, I pray that all of us will find a blessing in this time. And so I'll open with our invocation, a prayer, and then I will take a few minutes and share the names of those who have passed since the last meeting and offer a moment or two of silence after that so we can be thinking about those people and how they have impacted our lives. And so let us begin and bow our heads in prayer. O Lord of all, we are thankful on this day that you have given us, for its blessings, its opportunities, and yes, even its challenges. May we appreciate each day and use it to the fullest of our abilities. We pray for strength and guidance for each day as it comes, for each day's obligations, and for each day's problems. May we be challenged to give of our best always, and may we be assured of your presence with us. Guide our thoughts and our actions in this time of meeting, that they reflect your will. Give us ears to hear and hearts that are open to receive. It is in the name of the one with many names that we pray. Amen. And so here are those individuals from the beginning of February of this year till today. Julius Paul Cruz, Jim Tapp, Joan Greenhill, Carol Tibbles, Irene Sturgis, Marjorie Midge Berger, William Bill Dow, Rick Snell, Mildred Percy, Ruth Holmes, Sandra McMurray, Priscilla Tanner, Helena Chilla, Jean Cooper, Nora Eisern, Rose Barr, and Joe Garul. And so let us take a moment of silence to remember these individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We're going to make just a short announcement before we start our regular agenda. As you've noticed, we have a very lengthy agenda today, and we have several of our leadership team members that are with us that have prepared reports for all of us. So I'm going to ask if you would please hold your questions until we have the comments from the floor section. And I promise you all questions will be answered, but we want to have our leadership team be able to give their reports before we start the questions. Now, Secretary's report, Carol.
Thank you. Excuse me, allergies. The minutes for the town hall meeting held in January 2021 were approved, published on My W Life, and posted on all the community bulletin boards. Those minutes stand as published.
Thank you, Carol. Treasurer's report, Elizabeth.
Good afternoon. As you can tell, having lived here for a year, it has been a very quiet year, so there's not a whole lot to report as far as Treasury goes. The boutique brought in about $6,600 for the whole year. Almost 30% of that was from our recent pop-up sales. So we have hopes that the future is going to be much brighter. Out of that $6,600, we have given $4,600 to the Benevolent Assistance Fund for use here at Westminster Woods. The highlights of the year were that the Employee Scholarship Fund and the Employee Christmas Gift Fund were very successful in their endeavors. So that was the bright spots of the year. The March report and the year-end financial report are both posted under the Residence Council folder on My W Life, along with the March minutes. They're attached at the end of that. So if you'd like to take a look at them, that's where you can find them. Thank you.
This is a test to see how long Elizabeth and Carol and I can manage passing the mic without dropping it. We promise to do well. We also, in addition to the Treasurer's report, we want to extend a thank you to John Scott. He's a Southwood resident who has been reviewing our finances for many years. And we always forget to say thank you. So I want to be sure that gets in our minutes. A special thank you to John for the reviews that he's been doing, and our finances, thanks to Elizabeth, always come back in perfect order. Now comes the fun part. This is the presentation of employee awards, and the first committee is Dining Services Committee, Wayne Sims.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just about the one-year anniversary that mayhem hit dining, and we began to have to change things so dramatically, going into closed dining room, moving facilities around, meeting the federal guidelines and the state guidelines, and taking care of those things. And it's been a hectic year, and on behalf of the Dining Services Committee and the Dining Services Department, I'd like to just say thank you to the residents who have endured the hardships, because when you disrupt dining, you disrupt lots of things. You know the old saying, if mama ain't happy, nobody happy. And if dining's not providing food for us, nobody's happy. So we know there's been some disruptions in the way it's been handled. You've been marvelous in meeting our needs because of the restrictions we've had. We just want to say thank you. Today's two recipients, I think, are indicative of the type people we have in dining, because both of them are receiving the quarterly award the first quarter they become eligible to receive it, which speaks well of the type people that have been retained in the dining services. The newcomer is celebrating her first year. She just turned 1 back in January, and she's a charming lady who has done a magnificent job, and this is her first quarter for being eligible. She was hired a year ago as a dining tech 1, and she spent much of her time serving the dining room. She went up to the Rapid Recovery and Health Center. She served up there. She'd come back and do serving at noon in the dining room. Remarks on the cards came in, and they were just all superlative for the service she provided. She took responsibilities as they were dealt out and assumed responsibilities that weren't dealt out at times. When the supervisor of the dining room position became available not too long ago, she was the first one that was thought about, I guess, by David and his crew. And so she grabbed her mask and went to work. And her laugh and her personality and her ability to be service to the people and to be of service to us is recognized at this time. And I'd like to ask Celia Voen to please come forward and receive your award so we can give it to you. Thank you. Celia, you have a certificate, a pen, and more importantly, a check.
I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
The second. Oh, she won't mind. You can cash her check too then if you'd like to. She joined us back in 2017, when she became eligible for her first award, bingo, she was there, because she's been that kind of an employee for us since that time, and the one that I think anyone who's gone to the dining room in any of the last few years recognizes this person who has always been Johnny on the spot. Maybe Joni on the spot, excuse me. But anyhow, she's been supportive of everything that's gone on in dining. She's taken the full responsibility. She's been there when anyone needed her. I cannot elaborate the things she's done, just to tell you that when it progressed to that point, she became the supervisor of dining services, so that she has that brunt of responsibility on her back now, and she does a magnificent job. And I would like to call the lovely, very dependable Kristen Crosby for her second time at winning the quarterly award as Employee of the Quarter. And I do have the package that has your check in it, Kristen. Thank you and congratulations, and thank you for the service to Westminster Woods. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Our next committee is Health Services Committee, and Dr. Wayne Letizia is the chair.
Madam Chair, residents of Westminster Woods, thank you for this opportunity and privilege to speak to you today. Twice a year, first quarter and fourth quarter, we give honors to the certified nursing assistants who work at Westminster Woods. As indicated by their titles, these are called CNAs. These CNAs are certified by the state of Florida, and this certification allows them to provide direct patient care. The certification not only occurs only after the individual has undergone training in this care and has passed a test. WWJC has recently begun offering courses to provide this training. We value our CNAs highly at Westminster Woods because they provide, under the direction of the nurses, the basics and the bulk of direct patient care. We could not maintain our 5-star Medicare rating without the care and dedication they provide. We at Westminster Woods on Julington Creek are extremely happy to honor all those who labor so diligently to provide this excellent care for our residents. We will have further opportunity to thank them in June, as in June occurs every year CNA Week. And so at this time, I'm happy to provide these awards to 5 of our CNAs. And if they are here, now often they cannot come because they're in the middle of their duties, or they're in a different shift, or they can't leave the RRU. But for those who are here, if they would come forward, is Pamela Parker here? Pamela is being honored. Elizabeth Green is here. I know Elizabeth is here. Elizabeth works in assisted living and just is loved by her residents, and she's also loved very much by her supervisors, who recommended her very highly. So, Elizabeth, I present you with this award.
Thank you.
Very much. And as Wayne Sims has indicated, there's a certificate,
Yes.
which you can hang on your wall. There's a pin you can put on your name tag. But even more important, there's a check. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Is Joanne Aguilar here? Joanne works in the health center. Rubina Ali also works in assisted living. And Jeanette St. Louis Saran is in the health center. And these are the 5 awardees for this quarter. And I'm just so happy to be able to honor all these. And the CNAs who are not here will have their awards distributed by their supervisors. Thank you so much.
The next committee is Maintenance, Housekeeping, and Security. Dave Dingfield is the chair.
Thank you. This is my first town hall as chair of the Maintenance, Housekeeping, and Security Committee. So I'd like to pause just for a moment and recognize the previous chair of this committee. Kay Corcoran has been a resident of Westminster Woods here since 2009. Because she loves volunteering and golf, she became committee chair in 2015. So for 5 years, she was the chair of this committee and providing leadership and really earned the residents and the staff respect and gratitude for a job that was well done. Her fairness and objectivity in dealing with many unhappy residents about one thing or another, and her responses usually started with, "Have you called Nell about that?" if you recall. So she always did her best to get a resolution for the residents, not leaving anything out. So on behalf of the fellow residents, we just want to express our gratitude and appreciation to you, Kay, and say thank you very much for your 5 years of service. Moving on with our employees in the maintenance and housekeeping department for the first quarter of 2021. In the housekeeping, we have Natasha Campos here with us today, who is housekeeping in Kumquat. Been here about 18 months working on campus, and told me that she moved up from Satellite Beach with her husband about 18 months ago and started work here at that point in time. Born in England and moved to America as age 8 just a few years ago, and went through the citizenship program here also. Has 2 sons in the Air Force, and she enjoys very much working with those folks there in the assisted living and giving her compassion, care to them, and friendliness, and she said, she's a good listener to them. So we thank you very much, Natasha, for your work with the folks in assisted living. Thank you. Okay. The other employee from our committee is Robert Davis in maintenance. Familiar face around here. It's been 6 years plus here at Westminster Woods, and actually started here in the dining services area. Dishwasher, moved up to server, he said, and then he saw an opportunity to go where his heart was, and that was in the maintenance area, so he went to grounds, and then fairly recently, I think last year, got promoted to maintenance mechanic. Is that right? So we as residents love his smile and his positive attitude when he comes in and provides whatever services are necessary. And for some reason, he loves weekend work. I don't know if it's away from management, whatever reason, but he just feels not quite so rushed and has a little bit more time for conversation and can provide better services to us. So we thank Robert very much for his outstanding service to the maintenance area and to the residents. Robert? That's all, Madam Chair.
Thank you and congratulations. Our last committee is Residents Lifestyle Committee. Bill Talley is the chair.
Can everybody see me? The resident lifestyle group is a little bit of a disparate group in that it includes people from marketing, people from administration, people from assisted living, as well as the independent living folks that you see putting together the programs for us. Today we're recognizing somebody that you probably maybe have never seen, and that's a shame because she's a sight. Come on up here, Jenny. Come on up here. Jenny Williams works in the assisted living, and she considers her mission to be to serve the community, and that's a great mission. And she considers it also a blessing to be able to work with the people that she's working with and with all of us. She was born in Mississippi. I don't know, do you talk like you were born in Mississippi? Absolutely. She was born in Mississippi and raised in South Carolina, so that's a combination, isn't it? She's been married for 26 years. She got married when she was 12, and she has 3 great kids. She does more for the folks in Alex than you can ever imagine. And we really need to say thank you so much for your service. And this little token, I'm not getting too far away from the microphone, am I, Tom? This little token of our appreciation is for what you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please welcome Pam Benfer, the Volunteer Director, to present the Volunteer of the Quarter Award.
Thank you so much. And just as a quick commercial, thank you to this new council. Aren't they doing a great job? It's off to a great start. So I know there's been a lot of time and work in getting to this day. So thank you, and we look forward to several years of fun and games with all of you. The Volunteer Advisory Committee has met. And sometimes there are those people that are actively doing things for many, many years, and they probably feel like nobody has even seen me because when I'm doing that, there's not always a lot of other people around. So it is a pleasure to be able to recognize someone who has been providing service on this campus pretty much since he moved in here way back in 1997. And he was going to have to forgive Tom and myself because we kind of told him a little lie to get him here, saying we needed extra help with the microphones. So Ed Burgee, would you please join me up front? And thank you for the little white fib, Tom. These things are always more fun when the recipient is here. So Ed, first of all, I hope you will forgive us for waiting so long for this recognition. If you don't realize it, the spiritual activities on this campus just would not be the same without his hands, his time, his love, and the spirit of which it is given. If you have a podium set up for a service and it's supposed to have a certain color on it for a certain service, he knows not only where that is, but what it is and how to put it out with the reverence and the dignity that is warranted for every one of those events. Memorial services, the Vesper services, on and on. So join me in thanking Ed for his service and many more years to come.
Thank you. At this point, please welcome Katie Lay, the Foundation Director, for a brief announcement.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you have probably already met at some point in the last 9 months. Yesterday was my 9-month mark here on campus, and I cannot say enough good things about what a great experience it's been to get to know such wonderful, amazing people, both residents and team members. So thank you so much for making me feel part of this family. Very happy to be here. I am here just to announce that starting next week, you'll be receiving a packet in the mail regarding the Caring for Generations campaign, which is Neighbors Helping Neighbors. And that is our annual campaign that helps with benevolent assistance here on campus. It is confidential which residents are receiving benevolent assistance, but it is something that is very, very near and dear to the Foundation's heart because we feel like that is our primary mission and our primary ministry here. And I understand that a lot of times people get concerned about, what can I give, what can I give? There is never an obligation to give, but I just hope that people will understand that through that program, we can make sure that our residents feel safe and comfortable and they can continue to live the wonderful lifestyle they have here. If you have any questions regarding the campaign or any other campaign, any other funds that we raise money for, please feel free. My door is always open. If you can't track me down, sometimes I'm not always in the office, you can certainly leave me a voicemail and I'll be happy to speak with you at any time. If you have any questions about planned giving, any questions about any other questions, that I can try to help answer. If I don't know the answer, I promise I just won't make it up. I will actually get information for you and share it with you. So I hope that you'll come by and visit and talk, and I look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Katie, for being with us today. Now comes the fun part. We have a welcoming committee, and that's led by Sarah Bailey. And she's going to introduce us to all the new residents who have chosen to come and join us in this wonderful neighborhood.
First of all, I want to say long time no see. In normal times in the past, I have had the pleasure of introducing new residents to all of you. But life for the past year has not been normal. So today I will simply read all new residents since January 2021. Can you believe that 30 new residents have made Westminster their home? And I wondered if you know that in spite of COVID and quarantine, they have bent over backwards to come and to be a part of this wonderful fellowship that we have here. So I'm simply going to name all the people since January. If I flub on the names, that's just me. Roy and Jean Slingo, Cheryl Dory, Mary Kate Stembridge, Marlene Shaw, Audrey Duck, Jack and Skipper Miller, Jimmy and Louisa Bentley, Patricia Williams, Jeanette Alley, Chuck Sederham, Audrey Larrow, Bert and Maurice Rinker, Ben and Benditti, okay, Bob and Bobby Holland. My glasses are fogging up. Ernie and Sue Jefferson, Mary Frashow and David Scales, Bill and Carol Berger, Pam and Drew Thomas, Jean Gress, Sandra Odom, Kathy and Albert Martin, Mary Stout, Mary Jo Bryan, Jan Goodman, Jim and Margaret Mixon, John and Diane Sable, Susan and Ed Klein, Joan Cam, Peggy and John Hunter, Jane McKee, and Doreen Dow. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. As we were listening to some of those names, we're beginning to recognize that some of those names are already very active volunteers and are already participating in a lot of the committees and volunteer projects on campus. Thank you, Sarah. Next, we'll ask Ramsey Geyer to give us the legislative update to see what's happening in Tallahassee.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to share some information. For those of you who don't know, I'm Ramsey Geyer, and I wear a number of volunteer hats in my work here at Westminster Woods on Julington Creek. I just want to add something that wasn't in my original notes because of the one of the previous statements. As chair of the Financial Review Committee, we look at the finances for both corporate and Westminster Woods every quarter and go over it with the executive director. One of the things that bothers me about financials reports is a item called other. I hate other because I don't know what's in other. So I call the CFO and say, what's in other? One of the line items on the expense line is other. And in that, it tells the bulk number, doesn't give names, but it gives a bulk number of the amount of money that is expended for benevolent assistance on this campus. And it warms my heart every time I see that number to know that that money is there to support us in our time of need. So I just wanted to share that. Serving as the Vice President of Florida Life Care Resident Association, which many of you are members, I'm involved with the ongoing activities of the state legislature with regard to the bills that might come, that might impact residents across the state. In a similar way, as chair of the Governor's Council Advisory Council for CCRCs, we have oversight and provide that to the Office of Insurance Regulation for the protection of residents in Florida relative to financial stability of the providers and other activities that are required by Statute 651. The legislative activity is ongoing. Our legislators never stop, quote, working, looking and trying to help us. But the actual work starts in January. They start putting together bills that they want to present to get through the process of committee reviews and get on the Senate floor this week so they can actually become law. And the legislature runs from the first week in March until the latter part of April. This year the session will close on Friday and all activity will stop. Any bills that have not completed their review process will not be heard. Those that will be heard will be voted on and determined whether to be law or not. The only thing that will continue will be the budget process if it has not been finalized. That can go on for a long time. But let me give you a quick overview of what has been going on. FLACRA looks at all the bills, and right now there's some 2,000 bills that are being heard in the legislature, if you can believe that. Now, they were under the same constraints we were this year in that they had to have limited meetings, they had to have limited membership, and in those meetings, it was much more difficult than it usually is. But I can give you a little bit of assurance from my involvement with the political systems. Most of the work that actually makes a difference happens in the hallways of the legislature, not in the meeting rooms. It's who talks to who agrees to what, and what they're prepared to do. So a lot of things happen in those passing through the hallway. And FLACRA has people that are there every day doing that. The budget was the biggest issue for the legislature this year because they were looking at an expected major revenue shortfall because of COVID. They've just realized that there's an additional $2 billion. They didn't share where it came from, but wherever it came from, they're glad to have that. But they still face increases in Medicaid caseloads and reduction in tourism. And it's not expected that the tourism influx will improve before 2022. They hope to have some this year, but they aren't sure how that's going to go. The House approved a $97 billion spending plan. The Senate approved a $95 billion spending plan. Those two plans have to be resolved and have to equal before they can ever be approved by the full Senate. But the House and Senate have agreed and must agree on what will be passed. One of the things that has happened is that there has been additional monies coming in to help the state. One of the bills that has been very active and was actually passed very early in the process is a COVID-19 healthcare provider liability protection. That was a bill which would protect the healthcare providers from frivolous lawsuits relative to frustrations with COVID. It only applies to COVID situations, and there's a very extensive process you have to go through to satisfy that. That was passed early on. The governor signed it. I'm still waiting for him to reappoint me to the council, but that's beside the point. He did sign that bill. We have an extensive problem throughout the industry with workforce for nursing homes and medical facilities. There was a activity instituted called personal care assistant because of the COVID impact. And this individual works as a nursing assistant to the CNAs. They require 16 hours of intensive training, and it provides them a path to become a certified CNA, which there is a extreme shortage at this time of CNAs in the industry. And we strongly support continuing this program after COVID-19 has ended. So we hope this particular bill will pass. It's passed all its committees, and it will be on the Senate floor for the vote. There's been a lot of emphasis on dementia issues, and a bill has been presented that will require all employees working in a facility like ours to have training relative to the impacts and issues of dementia, not just the ones that are in the health center, but all employees will be given what I call sensitivity training to that. Also, there's a bill that does the same thing for Alzheimer's related education for the general public, so that we have better understanding there. One of the exciting things I think that happened in the session this year is the legislature recognized, agreed to, and there was no dispute that the state was not prepared for the emergency that we faced with COVID. Totally, poorly not prepared. As a result, they have positioned bills that would require the Emergency Management Agency to ensure an inventory of state-owned personal protective equipment. If you recall, early on, we couldn't get enough personal protective equipment for our people working in the health center and in the other areas where they needed that. They have been required to create a comprehensive public response guide so the public understands what needs to be done and can be a part of preparing for and be prepared for an emergency. They also put a little side note in there, like they usually do, that says emergency orders will be written specifically in such a way to reduce any infringement on individual liberty, and they'll do that as much as possible. That's to keep from having you locked in forever with no hope of ever getting out. So that was a big issue to the members of the legislature, is the number of people that were in lockdown because somebody was exposed down the hall. So they're focusing on that. The other thing that they did, which is very unusual, they have requested that a reserve revenue fund be created outside of the normal appropriation process and untouchable by anyone except the governor, and used only for emergencies that may arise, whether it's a COVID emergency or any other kind of emergency. But it's a fund of money that's set aside specifically for addressing unexpected emergencies, which I thought was very good thinking. One of the other bills that's out there that we aren't quite sure where it's going to go is a bill regarding elder dispute resolution. In a lot of cases, elder people that have disputes have no person to help them get through it. So they've created a process where there will be a court-appointed elder care coordinator to assist, to ensure that that resident is properly represented. So the legislation ends on Friday, and except for the budget process, everything will stop. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, I'll be around after the meeting to discuss it with you if you'd like. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we would normally have our executive director's report, and Brian is not able to be with us today, but he sent an excellent replacement. Please let me present to you Elizabeth Scholler, our Health Services Administrator, and it's Elizabeth who is in charge of everything related to health in all levels of care. And Elizabeth has a PowerPoint, and I'm trusting that Elizabeth and the tech champions here know what they're doing with the technology stuff.
Good afternoon, everyone. But we're not projecting. Okay. Thank you, Pam. It worked earlier because we turned it on. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. While we're giving that a moment, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you. It's an honor to provide the town hall report today, and I, like Katie Lay, mimic her fond experience of her first 9 months. I am just finishing my 4th month, and it has been an extraordinary experience, and I really look forward to getting to know all of the residents better. In this time of COVID, it is very hard to get to know one another, and I actually look forward to what your faces really look like. So we'll go ahead and get started. I think everyone can agree that 2020 was a very challenging year for you, for me, for healthcare, for the world, and our CCRC environments. But the good news is it was a good year. We accomplished a lot. We found a lot of silver linings, and we continue to move forward to achieve our goals and the mission of our community. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the vaccines, the occupancy within our community, an employment update, our culture action plan, and upcoming events on the campus. So the good news is almost 100% of our residents are vaccinated against COVID-19. Agreed, that deserves a round of applause. 62% of our staff, our team members, are also vaccinated. And we continue to work through initiatives to try and increase that number. The health center staff are actually at 74%. So we have a high percentage within our healthcare environments, and we're working diligently to continue to increase that percentage across the campus. So we do have some opportunities for vaccine administration. So the Westminster Pharmacy is administering Moderna vaccinations. On April 30th, they will come on campus and provide a second dose for 4 of our residents and 13 of our team members. On May 4th, the first dose will be provided for residents, team members, and team member families. And I think this is extremely important. We are one of the few organizations that I have heard of offering the vaccine to our family members. And that is a tremendous benefit, especially as now they have lowered the age for vaccine administration to 16 years and up, especially as summer is coming. So what a tremendous benefit to us as team members and to our families to be a part of this community. So if you are interested, please inform Cynthia if you want to be included in the next vaccination clinic. And we are rolling out the offering of the vaccine to team member families, and I think the staff are really going to be very, very pleased. So we'll talk a little bit about occupancy. I'm not sure how well you can see this, but it provides the Westminster Communities of Florida's occupancy versus the National Investment Center average. And this is for quarter 2 of 2020, quarter 3 of 2020, quarter 4 of 2020, and then the first quarter of this year. The red, I believe, is the national average. No, I'm sorry. The red is Westminster of Julington Creek. Blue is Westminster Communities of Florida, and green is the national average. As many of you know, we all saw declining occupancy in all of our levels of care during the year 2020. So as you can see, we're doing quite well. We are exceeding the standings of the communities as a whole, and also that of the National Investment Center. And this is a period of 4 quarters. Yes, absolutely. But 3 of those quarters are the most volatile during the COVID pandemic. So this is the National Investment Center benchmarking. And again, this is just a different graph of the plot graph we had prior. And as you can see, the NIC, Westminster Woods of Julington Creek, and the Westminster Community of Florida, this reflects from January 1st to March 31st. So this is the quarter. So you can see that we are meeting or exceeding the National Investment Center and matching that of Westminster Communities of Florida. Assisted living, again, 93.3%. That's pretty significant. Westminster Communities of Florida is at 83.7%, and the NIC is at 75%. In skilled nursing, again, 74.1% for the National Investment Center, and then 78.3% for our community. The communities of Florida as a whole are at 87.2%. So overall, we are matching directly up with the Westminster communities and well above that of the National Investment Center. And I think this is a little more reflective. So this is our current occupancy. This is actually for the month of March. So this is 1 month. Independent living is at 91%. BJ Mall has done an amazing job in his new role with the campus. He has 7 reservations and deposits for the month. And this is March. In assisted living, we're at 95%. We have 1 reservation deposit. It's not affecting our IL occupancy. We have 3 available and unspoken 4 units. We always want to leave a little inventory available to the campus should it be needed by one of our residents. The nursing care is at 83%. So we're still tracking well there. So we're exceeding the National Investment Center average and continue to strive forward. As the hospitals open up, we will see a larger opportunity to partner with our local hospitals to provide short-term rehab to the residents in our community as well as our surrounding environment. Recruitment. So we've hired 17 team members. They fall into the categories of nursing, dining, maintenance and security, assisted living, resident services, housekeeping, and social services. We are currently advertising 21 positions, and those are in specific categories. You'll see that the asterisk on social services, that means that we had someone return. Kelly Vickery left us at the beginning of the year and went to another community and decided it just wasn't quite the right fit. So we are happy to welcome her back on May 17th. And these new hires include an assistant director of nursing, a dining room supervisor, and Kelly Vickery, as I shared. Retention and turnover. So the retention rate is at 80.79%, which is 13% favorable from the prior year. And this factors those that are still employed at Westminster Woods on Julington Creek as of this moment. The turnover rate is at 58.76, and that's 15% unfavorable from prior year. As in most communities, the majority of the turnover is in our nursing department and in dining services. So in an effort to combat the turnover rate, Terry Rogers mentioned at his last visit the Team Member Culture Action Plan. So members of the management team are actively working on our Drive Culture Plan. And the 3 factors that we're working on are pandemic support, communication, and accountability. You know, pandemic support, I don't know that any of our communities were prepared for the past year. So now we're in the mode of COVID was bad, it's still not great, but we have to move on. And we have to figure out how we continue to perform in our communities, caring for our residents and for our team members. Communication, we have many action plans and the same for accountability. I'll talk about a few of those. So pandemic support, we want to connect our team members and our purpose. We want to start having fun again because wearing masks, being quarantined to our environments, not able to interact with one another, team member to team member, resident to team member, really does have a negative impact on our day-to-day satisfaction as well. We want to recognize and celebrate our team members. A great example here this afternoon with the team member appreciations of the quarter. We want to incorporate well-being into our departments, mental, emotional, physical, all of those spheres of well-being. We want to encourage amongst our team members. We want to join residents and team members together to have events as we once did. Some good examples are Crush COVID Day, May Day, which is coming up this Saturday from 11:30 to 2. We have some really fun activities planned and a wonderful opportunity to be on this beautiful campus and spend some time together. Socially distanced, of course, with our masks on, but together. Communications. I think, again, COVID made this even more challenging. Difficult to talk to one another when you can't see one another, when you can't be in meetings together. And this is an area that I think we all probably struggle in, regardless of whether it is our personal life, our professional life, within our religious organizations, or clubs and groups that we are affiliated with. So we've made a commitment as a community to communicate across departments and shifts. In nursing, we began daily huddles this month. So each day we have 3 huddles in an effort to prepare the next shift for what is happening. We start at 10 o'clock, we have a second one at 3:30 p.m., and then a final huddle at 11 p.m. so that we are providing the information to the next shift that is vital for their success during their shift. We're holding regular meetings in every department, and we hope to branch the huddles to assisted living. The plan is to move those in May. We started in healthcare and RRU, and we'll be moving to ILEX, Comquat, and Jasmine. We want to welcome and appreciate diversity in view and opinion. This morning in our leadership meeting, we talked a little bit about the difference between our generations and how we communicate with one another and how a millennial might speak to a baby boomer and, making sure that we utilize proper pathways to provide information so that it's not only effectively communicated, but effectively heard. The Drive Culture Plan connects team members' top personal values with the mission, value, and vision of Westminster. In addition, there will be a team member newsletter that will be circulating so that staff members, team members are fully educated and aware of what's happening on the campus. And then the last measure is accountability. So we're going to ensure consistency in managing teams according to standards. We want to focus on effective change management. And then 2 primus, incorporating in each team member the servant leadership mindset. John Nolan has actually created some buttons that I had hoped to have an example of one today for us to wear so that it will be a constant reminder of what our purpose is. Then we have a few upcoming events. The May Day Mini Fest, and this will be residents and staff only. We'll be joining May 1st, 11:30 to 2 p.m. near the creek and the gazebo. We have Mission Barbecue catering truck arriving to provide food for everyone. They'll be here from 11:30 to 1. We're going to have entertainment from 1 to 2, and then an ice cream truck from 12 to 1:30. So I look forward to seeing everyone there. And then lastly, the Memory Support Assisted Living, the groundbreaking ceremony, is scheduled for May 27th, 2021. Now it is going to be a smaller event, again, because of the social distancing and the requirements that we have for COVID. It will be available via Zoom. Again, the design of the memory unit will be very home-like in design and in scale, and it will look very similar to the exteriors in Southwood. So more to come, but there is a planning committee, and we will make sure that, although it will be somewhat of an intimate affair, that everyone has access to it. And so I look forward to any questions that you might have. And again, please let me know if there's anything you need.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
My pleasure.
Before we entertain any questions, we still have 2 more reports. You may have noticed around the campus we do a little bit of digging, and they dig stuff up and then they put more dirt in, and then other stuff happens. So we've invited Rod Jordan, who is king of digging and moving stuff around, and Rod's going to give us an update of the capital projects that have been going on in the campus. We have some that have been completed, some that are in process, and some that we are still thinking about for the future. Rod, I don't know what we would do without you, but we're sure glad you're here.
There wasn't another attachment? That's okay. Yeah, now I can pick and choose what I want to tell them, huh? No, sir. I got it right here. Brian sent me an attachment that talked about completed capital projects for fiscal year 2020. Fiscal year 2021. These projects that they're already completed, but I'm quickly going to go through them to let you know that at one by one, they didn't seem like we got too much, but when you look at an entire year, we've got a lot done for the year, especially being as handicapped as we are. And I really felt that we were, I'm sorry, Mr. Mackner, forgot about that. I thought we were over the bad part with manufacturing, production, and things getting back online, but it seems like it's getting even worse. Have you seen the price of wood products? My goodness. I had never thought that I'd see a 8-foot 2x4 costing $4. So it's ridiculous. The price of wood products is going up 200, 300%. So I'm not looking forward to things, but I've also sent that to the community services support, letting him know that, you know, we've got so much money that we're allowed to use in the renovation of our units. And I think we have a high standard of the unit turns that we do, and we want to continue with those high standards and the upgrades that come along with that year after year after year to try to keep things current. So having said that, I'm going to get back on point here. We completed an automatic gate surveillance project. That was where we put, we had a software and hardware programs put together where you went up to the gate, pushed a button, we could communicate and see who was at the gate, talk to them, and then open the gate. So that was a really good project. And now we have open gates, which is really good, in my opinion. I'm hoping the services that we perform on the Eastwood Creekside and Southwood gates is going to give me the money that I'm going to need. I'm telling you what, it just seems like I'm spending $3,000 or $4,000 a month keeping those gates up. So I don't think they were ever designed to have that much traffic go through them because we had a kind of semi-open policy on that anyway. We replaced the hydraulic gate openers with more industrial hydraulic gate openers. We got that done. Kitchen exhaust fan motors, exterior painting for Southwood was completed. All of the Southwood units have been painted now. Upgrade on the main fire alarm panel, kitchen steamer, kitchen hot holding cabinet, kitchen ice maker, kitchen washing cooler, evaporator, Main Street roof repair, boilers in substation 8 that were critical to the hydronic and boiler domestic hot water that we needed for the health center and the main kitchen. A main sewer line that's part of the infrastructure project, but it's actually an upgrade for us because we are now in that upgraded sanitary system. Replaced hallway flooring in the health center.
chilled H2O pump and motor garden apartments, independent living renovations. And, you know, I wanted to look up the total number from one fiscal year to the other, and I think I'll do that, and I'll present it to the maintenance committee to let you know how many major unit renovations we did, how many quick turns we did, and then how many were done in assisted living and the health center. HVAC replacements. Now, I know that's typically 16 to 23 HVAC units a year that we've been turning over for the last 4 years. New lift station, and we abandoned the old lift station. Totally rebuilt the cooling towers. It's much more quieter than it was last year, and I know that the Magnolia residents are very happy about that. And then the elevator power unit and the elevator. So those were projects that were completed last year. Projects that are approved and that we're working on, or they're in progress, are the exterior walkways at North Point and Magnolia. We are currently started. That project was approved. We met with the company called Performance Painting, who won the contract on that. They are doing some pressure washing today, and also they're going to be doing a test sample on the 3rd floor of the Magnolia building because it's a 3-step epoxy process. And we're going to see how long it actually takes for the 3-step process to be completed, so we can figure out a good schedule so we don't put the Magnolia or North Point residents out by how long it's going to take to dry. So maybe we have to paint something in the evening and let it dry all night if it's right in front of the exterior walkway. So we're getting our plan together so we can put it into effect. We have replaced both of the thermific boilers in Substation 8. Those boilers lasted 22 years. I'm very proud of those boilers. So we invested in the exact same boilers again, and hopefully they'll give us another 22 years of service. We have a new a project pending for a tankless water heater for the Magnolia building. And then we have a project that's approved for an 8-passenger golf cart to support our tram service. And Roger with Kingpin Carts tells me that it's almost complete and hopefully delivered next week or the week after. So we'll have a new tram for Kathy to be zipping around the property on. So, we just had yesterday installed a new pool heater at the Eastwood pool. So I'm thinking with that new heater, it's going to be much more effective than the old one was, and we've set the temperature at 86, and we're monitoring to see how fast we can get that temperature up to that. So the Eastwood pool is now a viable option instead of Southwood all the time. By the way, quick note, Saturday, the Southwood pool, we're going to take it down for maintenance. We're going to get all the pressure washing done, getting all the stuff off of the screened enclosure, and that we have to put scaffolding over the pool to get up there to blow all that screen off. So we're going to kind of take it down on Saturday. Looks like Saturday is supposed to be a 25 to 35% chance of rain, so hopefully that doesn't ruin anybody's day, but just a quick note to let you know. And oh, by the way, it's going to be on Touchtown too, so you'll be able to see that. Kitchen swinging doors. The doors have been ordered, and those are badly needed. We only have one more upgrade to do on the health center elevator, and that is to put a new control panel on the elevator door and the mechanicals of the door itself. Other than that, it's got a new motor pump. It has new software. It has new computer chips in it. The only thing we have to upgrade is the elevator control panel and mechanicals on the door. And we have a totally rebuilt elevator. So we're happy about that. And we've submitted a project request to have that approved. And we're just pending approval on that now. Independent living renovation turns. You know, as residents move out, we go in, we look at the unit, we determine whether it's going to be a major renovation, a minor renovation, or a quick turn. Quick turn is most of the time just touch up with paint or replace carpet. That's pretty much a quick turn. And we can do somewhere between 20 to 30 independent living unit turns a year. Of that, 80% of them being major turns. I was surprised to know that we're the only community in Westminster communities that is actually getting a major unit turn done within 60 days. I've been asked by the VP how we get these unit turns done so quickly. So I told him it was easy. We just make sure we manage the process, and we make, if you don't get there on the days that you're supposed to be there, then you have to play in the sandbox with somebody else. So, but one way or another, we're going to get that unit done and not let marketing down, and make sure that unit is available when the new resident wants to move into those units. So just wanted to give you an update on that. First quarter scheduled capital projects. These are projects that were approved by Community Services for us to perform for this next fiscal year going forward. I'm going to go into these and then I'm just going to let you know which one of these are Community Services capital projects, which ones are community capital projects. So as we go through, there's memory support, design and construction, assisted living. That's a Community Services approved first quarter project, and I don't know what the status of that is going to be right now. Parking lot striping in the garden apartments, if you saw, we started that today. Matter of fact, we got all of the northeast section of the all restriped, so we can get that taken care of, and the new parking curb's going to go out, and we should have that done any day. Kitchen acoustical ceiling grids, that's a capital project for the first quarter, and I'm sure David's working on getting that project together and out. We also have artwork for assisted living, wheelchairs for the health center, gliders for health center, assisted living, resurface asphalt in the Eastwood community. I'm working with All Pro Asphalt. They were here a couple of months ago. We did some work in Eastwood that I felt were critical to get done, so we had that done. Now I'm going to get them back and see what we can do to complete the work that we needed to do on the south and mid portions of Eastwood. Indoor air quality, that for the health center, that is a Community Services project, and I'm not sure when they're going to get started on that one. Then we will continue with independent living renovation turns. And we sat down with Elizabeth, and we sat down with Dorothy Slamma in assisted living. And this one project that we're actually putting together right now will be access control. Access control for the health center and assisted living will include access, of course, and more security cameras. So we're looking at what we need to do so we can put a scope together. Once we get the scope of work completed, then we can put the project out for bids for 3 separate security companies to give us proposals. And once we have those proposals, we can put the project together and submit it to corporate for their approval. That's about all I have, and I'll wait till David is done if anybody has any questions about projects pending or where we're going for the rest of the fiscal year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rod. Just when it looks like nothing is getting done, and Rod comes back with his list, and he and his team never stop working. I have to tell you, we always save the best for last because it's food. And if there's one thing Westminster residents love, it's how to eat. Please welcome David Graham and his team for the new dining services initiatives.
All right, what I'd like to talk about first is Chick-fil-A. Let me tell you about my last experience at Chick-fil-A. Hope you got your attention. So I went to Chick-fil-A, and I got to tell you, I had a sandwich and a drink, and I paid over $9. That was crazy, and it wasn't even that good of a sandwich. So put that in comparison, that if you're participating on a meal plan for one meal a day, you're going to spend $6.34. So for $6.34, you get to sit down and be served. You'll have your soup, you'll have your salad, a nice hot entree, or a choice of something from our always available menu. You got your side items, you have a roll, you have dessert, you have a beverage, you have coffee, and then you have more dessert. The ice cream just keeps coming. So just think about that. $6.34 gets you one meal a day. $5.78 per meal gets you 45 meals in a month. So we have a couple days left in this month for you all to race down to see Suzanne Moran and sign up on a meal plan, because we'd like to see more people in the dining room. And speaking of seeing more people in the dining room, we've recently added more tables, we've added more chairs. If your friends and neighbors have made any remarks about it being unpleasant to come to the dining room because either A, you're making a reservation and then you're getting a phone call from Kathy saying that, sorry, but the dining room is full, would you like to have the meal delivered or a takeout? You're not going to have that anymore. And if you've also heard that we're rushing you out, you're not going to hear that either, because there's enough tables and chairs now that when the first seating comes in and has their meal, you can finish your meal without being rushed out, because there's enough tables and chairs for the second seating to come in, and we can take care of everybody. We've expanded the service hour so that the servers can give more attention to you during each meal period that you come to sit at. So all of that is some pretty nice stuff. In addition to that, we have nice ambiance music in the background in the dining room, which that large cavernous room has been so overdue for many years. And now we finally have that system working, and it's wonderful. And lastly, I wanted to mention is that next week, I especially need everybody in the dining room to welcome our newest member of the dining service team. Her name is Miranda Lee, and she is going to be one of our new dining service supervisors. So we've been recruiting for that position for a while, and I think we have found the best qualified candidate for that position. So we're really looking forward to that. But mostly, we want to see more smiling faces in the dining room. And on that note, let me turn the podium over to Chef Larry and Kathy.
I got nothing.
What?
Go ahead. I don't have a microphone.
Hello. All right, how's everybody doing today? All right, what I'm going to do is going to tell you about our specials that we're having for next month in May. Of course, Mother's Day is coming up, so we'll try to do a nice thing for Mother's Day. We have Cinco de Mayo coming up. Steak night's coming up again. We do steak night every month, one time a month. You can have the steak any temperature you want, from rare to well done. We also have a Reuben station coming up again. And now what we're also trying to do is we really truly need more people to come for breakfast. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to start doing waffles. We're going to start doing cheese omelets every day. I like to see more people. When I first got here, there was people there all the time. And I know we've been through this crisis, but the crisis to me, listen, you're more important, so why don't you come visit me for a little while, okay? And then that's it. That's all we're going to do next month. So, I appreciate to see you guys. The other thing I like to say is this, too, is sometimes, and when I say this, please understand, I'm only saying it because I'm not saying that you're old. What I'm saying is this, is that I know you guys care when we don't have staff. But you got to understand we're here to take care of you. So it's not a burden that we're taking care of you. So it doesn't matter if it's just us three right here, and the whole dining room's full. We'll have to do what we have to do because we do want to take care of you. So please, never in your mind think, oh, they don't have enough staff, so I'm not going to go there. No, come. Let us take care of it. Let us take care of you. That's our jobs, and we want to do our jobs. Don't rob us of that. Don't rob me of that, because I enjoy you. And you guys know how I am, okay? So please, come. All right.
That's it.
That's it for me. I'm different. No, that's it. Bye.
Thank you, David and Chef Larry and everybody from the team for really providing us the upcoming goodies that we're going to be having soon. And dig in there and think about eating. Guess what? It's now time for comments from the floor. Have we answered everybody's questions already? Don't anybody have a question? Carol, did you have a question? Oh, wait. I think Dwight has a question. Dwight, can you find your way to a microphone?
Don't leave, Ramsey. This is for you. And I'm serious. My question is really a comment, and it does not impact any of us personally except through our pocketbooks. All of us, most of us, have children, grandchildren, and in some cases, great-grandchildren who have gone up through the systems of the schools in Florida and have done quite well and are quality students. The state of Florida used to have what they called a Bright Futures Scholarship to pay these young people to get educated in Florida schools. What better do we need? I'm not going into that speech. I'll save that for Sunday morning. We need this. But our wonderful governor and legislators are saying, no, we don't have the money. That's got to be fixed. And I know you can't do it yourself, but if you can raise the issue, and it doesn't impact us as a crowd, but as individuals, and that's a concern that I have, and I'm through.
Thank you, Dwight.
I have a question for Rod. I'm not sure what the difference is between community service or community whatever. If you could clarify that.
Well, if you remember, community services used to be management services, but they didn't like that term, so they changed their name to community services. So community service is a corporate capital improvement project that they felt that probably because of county permitting, other factors that are involved might be a little too complicated for the community to do as a capital project, i.e. the memory impaired garden. That's a community services project. They're going to manage that. Bill Anderson's going to come down from corporate and Rob Clarisi, they're the construction managers. They're going to oversee that entire project. I'm just the day-to-day guy that the general contractor will contact me for just little issues that they might have that I can solve right then and there. But budgetary-wise, materials, corporate is real big with purchase orders where they order and purchase everything at a really good cost, and then they give it to the general contractor, and then the general contractor takes that cost off of the building. So there's a lot of things that corporate does that doesn't involve the community. So community capital project is something that Rod, Brian, and David and all of the leadership team looks out after. And a CSS project is something that's done at construction services at corporate. Does that answer your question, sir?
I think Carol had a question.
Don't go away, Rod. You know I'm going to have a question. I wonder if you could differentiate between health center and nursing care. A lot of the projects, the capital projects that have been completed have HC, Health Center, printed beside the name on your notes. Mm-hmm. Does that mean the entire health center building, or are you referring to nursing care as HC? health
Yeah.
center?
No, it would be a physical part of the health center. It doesn't necessarily reflect on nursing care. It's probably the physical attributes of the health center. Something that we're doing upstairs on the second floor could be rapid recovery, ATU, but it's done at the health center itself.
Thank you. That really clears it up.
Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other questions? Then I thank everybody for coming. We are officially adjourned.
I'm going to make a comment to Dwight. Dwight, I have taken that issue to our people in Tallahassee about the scholarship fund, and I'm trying to get an understanding as to what the next action could be to maybe get that reinstated, just so you know.
Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.